Hey guys, Ben with Myers Woodshop.
Hey, my name's Peter Romano with RowdyRoman.com.
And we have a CNC in store today. So this is a CNC 3018. It's the 3018 Pro. I don't know the difference between the regular and the Pro, but we're going to open it up and see if this thing can compare to any other CNCs that I have and you have in our shops. So this was provided by Gearbest. Go ahead and check them out if you like this video. So let's go ahead and open it up. Kind of the layout of the parts. We have the aluminum bed, the aluminum extrusions, we have the
threaded rod
and the rods. Then we have these parts are plastic, even though they look like metal. That's kind of like the body of the machine. It is a hardened plastic though. It's not like a cheap plastic, really. The power cord, you adjust the speed by the switch on the side. I have another machine like that. It's kind of odd, but we have the Chinese plug, unfortunately, and that won't work in America. So that was sent to me with the Chinese plug. But thankfully, the other end is like a common computer brick, and I have plenty of those. So that is the AC adapter. We have a mini USB. It's not the micro that's common on everything now, but it's mini and regular USB on the other side. You want to open those two and see? I believe those are the control boards. But we do have this one comes with a laser module. So, So this wavelength is 445 and it's 12 volts. It does not say how powerful it is though. It doesn't say the watts. So it's the DB2500. It's probably 25 or 2.5 watts is more likely what it is. What was the one that we got? The Otor one? A few videos back. It was a it was around a 5 watt.
It was a 5 or a 7?
I think it was a 5. 5. So this is about half as powerful. If you watch my JTech laser, this is half as powerful in wattage, at least, wise. So,
I don't know.
This is some sort of a control board with some buttons and a little LCD screen.
It comes with a 128 meg micro SD card.
128 meg? 128 meg micro SD, which is basically worthless in this day and age. I don't understand it. Which also comes with a mini CD-ROM. What do I even have that has a CD-ROM that can read it? So we're going to hope that we can find this online. Here are the stepper motors. They are not listed at their wattage or power. I have no idea. They're tiny, but there are stepper motors. And we have some cables. They did provide a bunch of bits, maybe about 10 in there. This is a much smaller, that's an 1/8 inch.
Yeah, 1/8.
An 1/8 inch cullet is what's in the spindle here. That's the spindle, but it's an 1/8 inch cullet. It may go up to a 1/4. I'll try to stick a 1/4 inch cullet and see if it actually holds it, but I'm not sure. So it's 1/8 inch bits that come with it. You're going to definitely be doing a lot of building your own pieces because here's a giant bag of parts. So it's a lot like the X-Carb, which took like 5 days to put together. So we do have the PCB board with the driver motors here. It looks a lot like a 3D printer board.
It does.
So very similar. Another bag of screws, the glasses to stop the laser wavelength. And this uses a linear bearing style, kind of like a Prusa machine. And it will go into these rails, and the rails will slide along the bearings, and that's what these are. So we're going to go through the steps of making this, and hopefully we do it right the first try, and it does look like it's going to take us
a while.
So if you're buying this kit and think you're going to get up and running really fast, that's not the case. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward this part because it's just going to take a long time. Okay, so we just assembled everything. We've already run some test cuts off camera. Trying to figure out exactly how things work because the instructions were, once you assemble it, there are no instructions.
None.
Completely none. So one thing that's kind of weird is the board in the back you can have the spindle and the laser plugged in and running at the same time, which is not a good thing. So it's either or, really. It has this breakout board where you can control the machine without connecting to a computer.
Yep.
So that plugs in to this like serial port right here, and you can load your file on the SD card you plug it in and you can load it from this and play it. So you don't need a computer to use it. However, if you are going to use it with a computer, you disconnect this cable.
It won't work.
Yeah, it won't the USB won't recognize the machine with this control board and this cable plugged in. So I think more than likely you're going to be using it plugged into a computer.
Yeah.
So this is kind of something you won't really use. It's a lot easier to control on a computer than it is this. The software, we had to search for it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of odd. It does exist. I'll put that in links in the description below. But the software is weird for G-code and...
Well, for engraving.
For engraving, yes. So let's cut to some video right here about us using the CNC with engraving. So every bit that it came with is a very pointy, sharp engraving bit. It is
a V-bit.
It's a V-bit, essentially. Probably like a 30 degree. It's super tiny, but there are no end mills. So if you expect to cut shapes out with this machine, you're looking at the wrong machine.
Yeah.
It probably can do it. I'm not even going to try because it barely did the engraving bits. But don't look at this machine if you're going to cut pieces out and use it as a CNC.
Yep.
But here's some video right here of it engraving a test file. That's not terrible. So it did do that pretty well. It wrote test, and we still have the piece of wood right here. So it did carve that out well. Not like clean, not fast.
Yeah.
So its CNC capabilities are super limited.
It might do a little better on like a real, like etching like a piece of aluminum or something, but with wood and all the bits that we used, it was upcut, so it wasn't clean.
It's not, it's not a clean cut, especially with an engrave. Once we sanded it down, you could see what it was. So just if you're gonna buy this for the CNC, don't buy it for the CNC.
No.
So switching out to a laser, you saw earlier that it's really simple yet difficult because you just loosen the bolt on the front and this spindle pulls out, and then this square laser, it's got little notches on the spindle mount. It fits down in there. It is hard to pull. So I put a Allen wrench in the slot and kind of like push it open so it'll fit down in there. Then you have to find the focal length.
Yep.
So you have to move it up and down. You make it fire. We use LightBurn. That's what we use for all of our lasers. It is the best software out there. Worth the $40 to run this. But it allows us to fire the laser at the ultra low, what is it, 0.05. It was like 0.5 power, to where it's not actually going to cut, but it does show you the beam. And when you do that, you raise and lower it, and when the beam gets its smallest point, that's where it's focused.
And you can always focus the lens a little bit.
It does have a little bit of focus when you turn here. But your main focus is up and down in the actual thing. So if you're thinking you're going to swap it back and forth really fast, remember you got to focus this. You may be able to make some marks on here, but it does change with the thickness of whatever you're going to engrave. So we did find out what some of these bolts do. There are some bolts that come with the machine, and they are for bolts and wing nuts. They are for holding your pieces down. Bolts, washers, and wing nuts. It is a terrible idea because the bolt is like super high, and you're going to run into that with the spindle. So I don't use that method at all. With this, blue tape on the wasteboard and blue tape on the back of the piece you're going to use, and then some CA glue. Although we just blue taped straight the board down. The blue tape is the clamp. We didn't even use CA glue for this one because you're engraving and you're barely cutting into it, so there's not much force on that. So blue tape works the best. I will never use the bolts. You just won't do it. I think that's about it. We're going to show you some lasering on it. Again, I'm not using the software that came with this because it's terrible. We're going to use LightBurn, which we already own. I'll show you a little bit of how we hook that up. Remember, if you're going to do that and hook it up to the computer, disconnect this control board or it won't recognize. So let's show you that, and I'll show you how it lasers, and then we'll go over our final thoughts. So here you can see we're plopping that in, and we're just sticking a small Allen wrench in there and prying it open. And then we're sticking this laser down inside of there. And it is pretty tight when you're doing it. So, do you remember how high we had it?
No, I'm going to start there and then...
I think it was down at least past there. So, we'll start there.
Was it all the way flush?
Oh. Now we'll plug the power in, and we're going to take our USB cable and plug it into the computer. Have it plugged in. We haven't turned the switch on there yet, but we do have the USB over here. We're going to plug it into the computer. I have LightBurn already pulled up. So when we plug it in, it recognizes that board. We're going to turn the power on to the back of the board with the switch. So we'll flip that switch. And now the machine is turned on. All right, so we have plugged in our USB. We have LightBurn turned on. We're going to click on devices, and we're going to add a new device. So we'll click find my laser. Remember, we have that port unplugged. So we'll click on next. It will scan, and it'll find our device. It's a 200 millimeter by 200 millimeter at COM port 3. It's a G-code device. We'll hit add device. And now it's asking where's the origin of our laser. We're going to put it at the front left. We do not auto home on startup. We'll hit next. and then we'll hit finish. And now we have a garble device that is ready to be used. Okay, so we're firing there, and I've turned it off, and we're too high, so we're going to move the laser down while it's firing. And we'll adjust to where the dot is smallest. So now let's go ahead and do a test. We'll just put some words in here and we'll call it test. And then we'll bring over words kind of in the center. And you can see where it's going to start at the upper right position. So we'll move the machine. We can change the speed and the distance. We're going to change the distance to maybe 1 inch when I push the button. And then let's start it about here. So let's set that. That is the origin. We'll click set origin, and then we'll click set finish. Outside the workpiece. We'll set origin here. I don't understand that. And we'll go ahead and click frame. Oh, we need to go to cuts and layers, and we need to output this one. And we're going to output this at 100 max power. So we want a maximum power of 100. Do you have any clue what our speed was?
It was so slow.
We're going to start our speed at 10 millimeters per second. And we'll give it a try. So we'll hit frame. So it's going to make a square around where we're actually cutting. And we'll see if it actually goes there.
"10 millimeters per second is slow."
10 millimeters per second is very slow. The laser operates at very slow speeds, but it does operate. So now it's returning back to home. So it showed us our test is going to be about here. And we'll just start lasering. And you can see our test completed successfully. It worked pretty well. It does have some weird line through it when it moved across. I don't understand why. But it did succeed and it lasered pretty well. So we'll try one more. All right, we're just gonna try to do a circle. So we'll go to move. Do it again. And let's laser a circle. Oop. It's not laser circle because I forgot to set origin. What the heck is it doing? What is it lasering?
It's just going back and forth.
I don't know what it's lasering. Oh, it was gonna fill. That would have taken a long time.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna set origin and set finish, and we'll go ahead and start this. And that's it. So we did the circle. Circle came out pretty good. So that's how you laser, and that's how you use LightBurn. Much simpler in LightBurn than their software. Okay, so we're gonna now use the little screen to control it. So it does have like a little, I mean, the screen is like
Tiny.
a dime size. And it's kind of hard to read. It's backlit with an LED, like a literal LED off to the side, backlighting the screen. So you can move X, Y, and Z. So Pete will do that right now. You can see it moves. And we can move it around. And you can also run your files off of this if you put the SD card in it and put your files on it. Now, it's got a 128
Megabyte card,
so you may run out of size on their free space. So, but you can't control it with that. So, but you saw in the LightBurn demo, we controlled it with LightBurn. I mean, the best selling point for this is the laser and LightBurn.
Yeah.
It makes it the easiest by far.
Makes it easy.
Yeah. CNC software-wise is their software. You can probably control it with some other stuff, but their software is not good.
No.
Period. If you can avoid using it, avoid it. So, you think it's worth, what, it's about $250 on Gearbest. Do you think it's worth it as a CNC? CNC cutting?
No.
No, not worth it.
No,
I completely agree.
No.
What makes you think it's not worth it on this machine from CNC cutting?
I mean, it's not easy to, the software's pretty trash, so you have to learn as you go. There's no instructions. So if you're, the person I see getting something like this would be somebody brand new, and then they're going to be spending hours upon hours searching online to try to figure out systems and settings and all that kind of stuff. And when in reality, there's probably other ways that you can, or other machines possibly. I'm not aware of any, actually.
The machine is only as good as the software.
Yeah.
If your software is trash,
Yeah,
it doesn't matter how good your machine is.
You're right.
The software makes the machine go. So you can create files and other things, but man, I don't care for the software that comes with it. You can probably run this off of some other, like CNCJS and stuff like that, which would make it a lot better. But
you could try.
Yeah, you're buying this machine and you're going to tinker 100%.
Yep.
If you're buying a machine to not tinker and you just want it to cut, this is not the machine for that.
Yep.
So, what's up?
I didn't know you were filming.
We're filming. Yeah, this is the last thing before you can go. So, this machine as a laser engraver. What do you think?
Knowing that the one I have, the Ortor.
Yes, if you look back on my other videos, we did an Ortor laser engraver that did not CNC, but it did laser, and that's it.
And it's a whole lot faster.
A whole lot faster.
Yep.
It's more powerful.
Yes.
So if you're wanting this as a laser engraver, don't buy this, buy the Ortor. Right?
Yeah.
That's what, yeah. And that's about the same price.
Yeah.
So basically the CNC on this is trash. The laser is pretty decent for what it does, but if you're going to buy it for the laser, buy the Ortor laser. That thing is great.
I guess with these bits that it comes with, I mean, as a CNC, you might be able to etch on aluminum and do something, you know, like little pendants or something like that. But the amount of time that it would take to figure out the software, you may look elsewhere.
Yeah. Save your money and invest in a better machine, like X-Carb, Shapeoko, the new Onefinity.
I mean, this is 10%
like
the cost of those.
Absolutely, but you're doing 90% more work to figure this thing out, and then you'll realize by the time you figured it out, this machine probably won't do what you want it to do. So,
and you could have made money making stuff and selling it on Etsy
in that time, yes.
on the other
so
machines.
look for an actual, real hobby CNC if you're going to do this. If your max budget is $250, period, then okay, I can see you buying it, and you have the best of, not the best of both worlds, but you have the ability to do both worlds. Rather engrave, not cut with a bit, and engrave, not cut with the laser. You're not cutting any material on this machine. No. It's not going to happen.
Nope.
Or if you are with a CNC bit, it is going to take a day and a half to cut through anything. So the machine itself is rigidly built. I think it's pretty solid, simple tank-like build. There are funny things like there are a bunch of cords just everywhere.
Wires everywhere.
The laser is not, it's got 2 plugs on it, and you don't know where it plugs into because it doesn't show you in the back of the manual. So it was kind of like plug it into this port and see if it works, which is kind of a bummer. It is lead screw driven and not belts, which is a major plus. It should be theoretically more accurate than a belt driven machine and stay that way. So the maintenance on this is basically none.
Like you said, I mean, if they change their software, people would buy this.
Yeah, the software makes the difference. It's still way underpowered. For a cutting machine.
For $250, you could just have fun.
For sure. Yeah. It's I think it'd be great to give it to a kid
and learn.
10-year-old, 12-year-old and be like, figure it out.
Yeah.
And those skills you would gain from this would carry over in life for all kinds of other things. So that would be a fantastic gift for like a Christmas gift for a kid. Something like that.
As long as that kid has patience.
Yeah. If you're buying this to make money on a machine, you're not going to do it.
Nope.
So.
No.
Final verdict. Is it a buy for you?
I wouldn't buy it. No.
And for me, if you've watched my channel at all, I do a lot of other things with some serious machines. This is something I don't even want to mess with ever again, to be honest. So, yeah. So if you're looking for a laser engraver, check out the Otor on my other video. That's about the same price, and it's really good. If you're looking for a CNC, obviously I had the Shapeoko and the X-Carb, and now the Onefinity. So if you're looking for a CNC, I'd recommend the Onefinity CNC. That's about $2,000, which is 10 times more than this machine, but it's worth it. You're going to be cutting right away and making money day one. So, all right, that's it. That wraps it up. I think it's a no buy from us necessarily on this machine for most cases. If you want to buy this, it'll be in the link in the description below. That is an affiliate link, and it keeps more items like this coming into my shop so I can show them off and tell you if they're worth it. So if you want to check out the Otor video, that'll be over here. And that laser is definitely a buy. That's in your shop now, right?
Yep, it's in my shop, and I make like firefighter tools and some other stuff for like emergency personnel. But check out rowdyroman.com and see some of the stuff that I make with that CNC and that laser.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you later. Happy lasering or cutting. I need to mention that.
Oh, that smells like your mom.
Cool. I'm lost. I don't know what to say. There's a freaking bug in front of my face.